What's up, guys? I'm back with a massive mod showcase. It's big, it's cool, it's a four-part mod series from the creator, bear with me, Paramonev95 on Nexus Mods. Comes 4 mods that add a total of over 350 pieces of equipment and weapons into the game. You can get these by either downloading the tutorial chess version or the roleplay version of the mod, which is you find them throughout the world, different parts in Act 1, different parts Act 2, random loot drops. I got the tutorial version for the purpose of this video. Whew. For my first video, we will be focusing on the first mod of the Ancient series, which is what I think he called it, the Ancient Jewelry mod. This mod adds in a total of 110 pieces of jewelry, rings, amulets, and stuff like that, with a total of 12 legendaries, 27 very rares, 34 rares, and 37 uncommon pieces of jewelry. Each one, I would assume, with its own magical effect, and for this showcase, like I said, I had to cheat, so I'm going to go through and read every single one, because why not? It's going to be a nice long showcase, so I'm going to start first in the uncommons. But let me lower my game volume real quick, that way you can hear these mods. They come in this box, the Casket of Immense Wishes. Here's your legendaries, your very rares, rare, and uncommon. Starting from the bottom, the Ring of the Quiet Pathfinder. Charm of the Black Stone. You always hit the first attack in combat with a ranged weapon. Nice for your ranger. Monumental Ring. Lightweight Punch. When you damage an enemy with an unarmed attack, you restore 1 key point with a 9% chance. Nice for your monk. Beastmaster. At the start of combat, your allied beast gains mental control for 3 turns. Effectiveness increases every 3rd level. Now, mental control is a new effect I think they added. The creature's attacks are directed by the Beastmaster. It gains +1 to attack rolls. Birochi's Amulet. When finishing a foe, you regain 1 level 1 and 2 spell slots each. Amulet of the Four-Eyed Spider. Upon entering combat, you gain Aura of Decay, affecting all creatures in a 27-foot radius around you, including you. The creature stops burning and becomes vulnerable to necrotic damages. Whoa. Amulet of the Apprentice. Infinite energy and enchantment. By casting evocation spells in combat, you can spend 1 sorcery point and gain arcane acuity for 3 turns. Beautiful Diamond. +1 performance, +1 persuasion. Influences trader prices, because I think you fly. Pendant of Magical Lazurite. When damaged by a spell, you gain Fury of Lazurite, which improves your spell save by 2. In addition, you take 1 psychic damage at the end of your turn. Kind of a steep trade-off. To the next row. Pendant of Good Night. Calm Fire Magic Instruction. You gain advantage on saving throws to maintain concentration while standing on a surface covered in ash. Charming Dance of the Fairies for the Pendant of Red Lights. When you become enraged, you gain Red Fey Magic for 4 turns, restoring 3 hit points. Effect scales with your level to yourself at the end of each of your turn. Amberstone of Many Souls. While out of sunlight in combat, you regain 10% of HP at the start of each of your turn, which, sounds like an Astarian thing. Pendant of the Forgotten Grove. Nature +1, vegetated terrain no longer affects you. Lathander's Priest Pendant. Whenever you heal an ally, a particle of incinerating light is applied to you up to 10 times with 30% chance, allowing you to deal 1 additional radiant damage for each stack of this effect. And that is what that is. Shamanic Storm Pendant. When you miss a foe with a spell, you gain Storm Assist until the end of your next turn. You gain +1 to 4 to your spell attack rolls. Astral Plane Locket. You are invulnerable to attacks that deal less than 2 damage but have disadvantage on your own attack rolls. Otherworldly Amulet of Death. Constitution -3. When you damage a humanoid with 5% of their maximum hit points or less, they instantly take 100 necrotic damage. This effect scales at your level. Gnomish Temporal Mechanism. History +1. You move 10 feet farther. Aquamancer's Amulet. When you take damage, you become wet, creating a puddle of water in a 10-foot radius around you. This effect does not wet other creatures. Twilight Knight's Pen. You deal an additional 1 psychic damage with melee weapon attacks but have 4 less hit points. This effect scales with your level. Tempest Caller. When you deal bludgeoning in melee to any non-large enemy, there's a 30% chance they'll be blasted away for 23 feet by the ring's thunderous magic. Up to the next one. Quartz Sword Master's Ring. Once per turn, when you damage an enemy with a melee attack, precision sword magic is applied to you, granting an additional 1 slashing damage to melee effects. This can stack and scale with your levels, but is removed on a miss. And that pretty much says the ability. Midwife's Ring. When you heal with the spell, life-saving relief is applied on the target for 5 turns, restoring 1 hit point per turn. Taking damage interrupts this effect, and this effect will scale with your level. Antique Sports Ring. You can jump 10 feet more. Blue Ring of the Underdark. +1 intelligence, -1 strength. Red Ring of the Underdark. +1 strength, -1 intelligence. Primordial Ruin Ring. If you have lightning charges, you restore yourself 2 hit points once per turn. When you take damage, the effect scales with your level. Court Magician's Ring. Gain +1 level 1 spell slots. Court Scribe. +1 history, +1 religion. Amber Ring. You increase your size and weight class by 1. Ring of Uncontrollable Wrath. Deal 1 force damage to enemies damaging you. This effect scales. Heart of the Boiling Queen. You gain resistance to cold damage. When you enter a water surface, you gain boiling water protection, which gives you +2 to AC. Malachite Ring. Hopefully I said that right. Spell DC save +1. Oh yeah, butchered that one. Willow Ring. Charm of the Forest Hermit. You create vines under enemies when you deal damage to them. Triggers no more than once per turn. I'm not the best English speaker. It +1 Constitution, but no more than 18. Ring of the Buddy Murderer. When you are near death, less than 30% restore 4 HP when dealing damage to allies. This effect scales at your level. I guess. Gnomish Mechanical Component. You shrink in size a bit. And for the final rare, you get Charm of the Nimble. You gain +2 acrobatics and +2 sleight of hand. If you wear the second part of the Gnomish ring, you also shrink in size. This effect scales. And that's it for the 37 uncommon rings. Hopefully, how long did that take me to read? Not that bad. Alright, on to the rares. Thought Stealing Amulet. Charm of Mastering the Weak. If your wisdom is greater than 15, you gain +1 to wisdom ability checks. It scales with your level. Monk Soul Pendant. Movement speed is increased by half the monk level. Dazed Battle Amulet. Intimidation +2. You start burning when entering combat on 1 turn. You deal an additional 2 fire damage with all attacks. This effect and burning scales with your level. Blinding Light Pendant. When you deal radiant damage, the target must succeed a con saving throw or be blinded. You become vulnerable to radiant damage. The duration of blinding scales. Ice Queen Pendant. While standing on a frozen surface, you gain the Queen's Soul, granting a +2 bonus to attack rolls with spells. And I'm assuming when I hit this, it's going to tell you that's what it does. Yep. Frost Spider Amulet. You gain +1 to stealth. Your obscured attacks deal 2 additional cold damage based on your dex mod. Dwarf King's Gold Pendant. When subjugated to range attack, items of damage received is reduced by an amount equal to your double your strength modifier. You roll 3 lower on all saving throws. Elven Queen's Earrings. You roll 3 more on all ability checks. What the fuck? Amethyst Wizard's Pendant. You gain a +1 plus level 3 bonus to your attack rolls of range spells, but lose 2 level 1 spell slots. This affects skills with your level. Alchemist Acid Stone. You gain immunity to acid, but suffer a 2d4 penalty to your attack rolls. Charge Lightning Pendant. You deal an additional 0 lightning damage based on spell casting modifier if you attack with a lightning spell. So whatever, if Gale's shit's like +20, you deal an additional 20. Warren Witch's Amulet. You ignore all immunities but lose a point of each ability. Ring of the Brave Adventurer. When taking damage in combat, a creature of fire, from a creature of fire you gain 1 charge of unstable fire protection with a small chance you can gain 1 to 4 additional charges. Unstable fire protection does. If there are more than 15 charges, the effect disappears. So that doesn't really change much. You're going to hear me plug in my headset, so I apologize for that noise. Going on to the next one, we have the Ring of the Fateful Strikes. You add an extra damage die to your melee critical hits, including spells, but you roll 1 less on all dice. I had to stop myself from talking there. Ring of Emerald Drain, Soul Sculpting. Each turn in combat, you gain 1 charge of planar Soul Sculpting. Absorption of Soul Sculpting, or Soul Power. After getting 20 charges of that, you absorb them and are fulfilled for 10 turns. Fulfilled, +5 intelligence, wisdom, charisma until the first spell you cast. You take 1 psychic damage at the end of each turn, so it's not a spell while resting. Yeah. Ring of the Brown Hunt. Movement is reduced by 17 when dealing damage to an enemy while in rage. You can restore 30% of movement points. Ring of Petrifying Strength. +2 to strength while out of sunlight, but every turn in combat are forced to succeed a con saving throw of 5 to avoid being petrified for good. Ring of Long Life. While you are on a water surface, there is a 50% chance for you to restore 1 hit point every time. This affects scales. Human Captain's Ring. Now, you gain positive attitude for 20 turns immediately after a long rest. Positive attitudes is just charisma +2. Pine Needle Ring. You become vulnerable to fire and gain +2 to ranged weapon attack rolls. This affects scales. Ring of Raging Fire. When you damage an enemy with the spell, there is a 30% chance you impose internal bleeding or burning on them for 4 turns. That is 3d12 fire damage. They leave puddles of fire underneath them and burn if the creature dies before this effect ends. It causes fire blasts in a 17-foot radius and dealing that much damage around them. Tribal Talisman. Using dash, you gain the Fury of Souls with a 50% chance. This effect scales at your level. Fury of the Souls is 2d4 psychic damage. You gain +4 to melee weapon attack rolls, but that's the damage you do to yourself. Ring of Master Wang. You gain proficiency with simple weapons. Simple. Astral Dream. You gain +3 to the spell save DC, but each turn in combat you must save a Wisp save throw of 10 to avoid falling into sleep. Ghoul Worshipping Ring. When you kill or deal a critical hit to a humanoid, you regain 1d6 +1 hit points. Triggers only once per turn. Scales with level. Drager Torture Ring. Upon jumping once before long rest, you deal 3 to 18 force damage within a radius of 10 feet at your starting and landing point to all enemies and objects and cause them to fall prone. Ring of Impenetrable Smoke. When an enemy deals damage to you, you have 30% chance to become invisible for 2 turns. Your maximum hit point is reduced by 2. The effect and duration scale with your level. Royal Messenger Ring. Your weight class is reduced by 1. When attacked by an enemy, you have a 25% chance to gain Lightless until the start of your next turn. I think Lightless is the one you get in the Astral Plane. Oh no, never mind. You gain +2 AC for each stack of this effect. Horus Priest Ring. While under sunlight, you and your allies within 30 feet radius gain Solar Force Dome. Positive and negative effects scale with your level. Attackers need to deal 1 damage to harm you at the start of each turn. You take 1 radiant damage. This effect lasts as long as you're within 33 feet of the ring. Quartz Ring. Arcana +1. When attacking, you have a 20% chance to inflict 5 to 49 necrotic damage, as well as 5 to 25 on yourself. Alright. Dried Mucus. While standing on an acid, you gain acid splattering, dealing 1d4 acid to all non-allied creatures in a 30-foot radius. Viper Onyx Ring. When you are down, a vengeful venom is imposed upon the murderer. And vengeful venom does 2d12 poison damage per turn for the person that killed its master. Null Chief's Ring. By delivering a killing blow to a foe, you fall into a bloodlust until the end of your next turn, which I think is in the game. You gain... No, it is not. You gain 3 additional attack points at the end of each turn. At the end of your turn, you have a 50% chance of falling into madness. And, you know, madness is hostile to everyone. And for the last rare, the Loft Cultist Ring. Deception +3, you gain disadvantage on attack rolls against spiders because you love the Spider Queen. That's all your rares. I'm going to take a sip of water before I continue. How long is this video? It's actually going to be a pretty decently long video. Alright, here we go. Pendants of Frightening Destruction. Your successful attacks deal an additional 1 force and 1 cold damage. Works once per turn. Your movement speed is reduced by 20. It scales with your level. So if you have the level 20 mod, I don't know if it scales with that. Capricus Princeling's Medallion. At the start of each turn, you must succeed an intelligence saving throw of 15 to gain sudden insight. Sudden insight, spell saves +3. Nice simple. Copper Crow Amulet. Charm of the Ancient Crow. You take no fall damage and double your dex modifier is added to your weapon attack. So that's nice for your Astarian or for your rogue. Amulet of Dragon Taming. You gain resistance to fire and cannot be burned. The number you need to roll a crit is reduced by 1. The effect can stack. Pendants of the Great Council. Charisma +2. You have advantage on charisma saves. Primordial Amulet. Wisdom +2. You have advantage on wisdom saves. Intelligence +2 and have an advantage on intelligence saves for the Archmage's Pendant. Pendant of the Forest Ranger. Dex +2. You have advantage on dex saves. That might come in handy. Amulet of the Bull Colt. Con +2. You have advantage on con saves. Enchanted Ruby Pendant. Strength +2. You have advantage on strength saves. Medallion of Great Victory. Your hit point maximum increases by 20%. You gain +17 bonus to your movement, and it scales with your level. Joaquin's Marked Ring. When you deal a lethal strike to an enemy, this ring has a 30% chance to teleport someone else's gold into a magical bag right under the corpse's feet. So you're just blindly robbing. Alright. Pearl Ring of Rainbow Colors. When any effect is applied to you in combat, there is a 10% chance to gain miraculous magic for 1 turn and instantly restore 1d4 + 1 hit points. The strength and duration of this effect scales with your level. Saving throw +1. That's what miraculous magic does. Ring of Secret Destiny. When you take damage, there's a 50% chance for this ring to emit a rejuvenating mist, instantly healing all creatures within a range. I don't know if it means like fully heal or what. Continuing. Evil Ring. Constitution +2. When you attack an enemy, this ring has a small chance to unleash its evil essence. Don't know what it does. Ancient Emperor. 6-finger punch. Once per combat, you deal an additional 1 bludgeoning damage to an enemy with an unarmed attack. Even if you miss, it scales with level. Knight's Ring. When finishing a foe, you gain Tremendous Smugness for 3 turns, and that is... Upon ability check, you roll 2 to 7 more. This effect fades when you are hit. Shanti Worshipper's Ring? Hey, don't come at me. You become resistant to necrotic damage when you step on mud. Dense bushes of flowers grow within a 17-foot radius of you, which do not slow you down. Restored Ring. Enigmatic Mysteries with a 50% chance you restore all the class spell slots after a short rest. Might go crazy for Gale. Shadowheart. Saloon of Silver Ring. Your intelligence is increased up to 20. Infernal Ring. Once per long rest, you summon a lake of hellfire within a radius of 100 feet. For one turn, when you are ignited, hellfire has no effect on you. Ignited does 1d4 damage. The page I go. Garnet Ring. A magical window to history. History +2, scales with your level. Oof. Baldurian Wizard Ring. If your intelligence is greater or equal to 18, all non-hostile creatures within a 33 feet radius receive Mind Enchantment. Which does, as long as this creature is within 33 feet of the ring rare, they gain +1 to intelligence and +1 save DC. So if Gale's smart, you're smart. Ring of Omnipotence. When dealing fire, cold, or lightning damage with a cantrip, you deal an additional 1 damage. The scale scales with you. Blah, blah. Ring of the Unseen Desert. When you step on any surface, the magic of this ring teleports it into non-existence. Charentier's Ring. If your level is greater than or equal to 9, the number you need to roll a critical hit is reduced by 2. This effect can unstack. Baldurian Ring of Nobility. You gain proficiency and advantage on deception checks, and that is it for your super rares. We are now on to the highly anticipated legendaries. Whew. There's a lot of talking. My throat is fucked. The Supreme Paladin's Pendant. The Holy Mandate. When attacking an uninjured enemy, you instantly restore half of your HP or resistance to necrotic damage and triggers no more than once per turn. Jesus Christ. Malar's Wolf Amulet. Athletics +1. This effect scales with level. Humanoids attacking you will have disadvantage on attack rolls. Difficult terrain does not affect you. Beads of the Ancient Warrior. You gain +1 bonus to your action points and +2 initiative. So I'm assuming +1 bonus is the effects of haste. You get another action. Cosmic Interference Pendant. You gain advantage on all attack, ability, and saving throws, but the roll on the dice is 1 less. So if you roll a 19, that's an 18. Amulet of the Ancient Necromancer. You gain Devil Sight, resistance to psychic damage, and once per turn, guaranteed to deal 1 to 4 necrotic damage with a range attack, even if you miss. It affects scales. Ring of the Peaceful Dawn. Immediately after a long rest, you gain an aura that affects you and your allies within a 50 feet radius and grants peaceful magic for 40 turns. While you're within 50 feet of the rare, you gain +3 AC to those attacking you. Suffer disadvantage on attack rolls. Clean. Ring of Agent Magic. When you mess with a weapon attack, you deal instant 1 force damage to the target and gain Fury of Failure. Effective until your next turn. Your next attack on a creature will deal 2 if you miss. Snow Giants. You get an aura that applies to you and your allies, causing the effect to become Frost Conduit. Standing on a frozen surface gives you +3 AC. If you're within 33 feet of the rare, you gain resistance on cold, +4 movement speed, and freeze the surface in a 10-foot radius around you. The ice does not prone you, which will go crazy in the shard fight. Mythical General's Ring. When your hit points are less than 60%, you reduce incoming bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing damage by half. You also gain +2 in con, which will boost your HP a little bit. Ring of 1,000 Topazes. Inflicting a critical hit with a weapon grants you a deadly strike. Your next weapon attack will result in a critical hit and will be twice as effective as the normal. Oh, Jesus Christ. Great Charmer's Ring. When you are attacked by a humanoid enemy, it must succeed a Wiz save of 15 or become your ally for 1 turn. And then Temple Ring. Summon the Temple Guardians. As the possessor of the Temple Ring, you have the ability to summon 2 formidable immortal melee guardians for the exponential power who will become your defense. And that is it for the ring showcase, guys. Long video, a lot of talking. Hopefully I was clear. Hopefully the audio is all good. And yeah, thank you guys. I'm going to cut it up just in case you want to skip. Like, I don't care about commons. I'll skip commons. I'll go to rares. I don't care about rares. I'll go to super or very rare. And then if you don't care about none of that, you skip right to legendary. A view is a view. A subscribe is a subscribe. Thank you guys for watching part 1 of this 4-part mod series. Peace out.